You going live?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, but that camera you cannot, nobody can see, right? Okay, let me ask you this. Can you see?
All right. How you guys doing? So we have Ravens, Saints. Of course, I've got the decorative stuff going on because I think the Ravens are going to win tonight. So what I thought about doing is whatever team. So if we continue to do this, if you guys like this, and we'll try it out tonight. But if we can do this Mondays, Thursdays, like I was saying. It's about the kickoff right here. But whatever team I think is going to win is the team that is the overwhelming graphic. I will usually dress to match. So, like, I don't know if you can tell, but it's a purple jacket to match the Ravens or whatever. So, had I picked the Saints, I would have worn a gold tie and a gold suit and all that. So, I, th- I like the theme there. So, all right. Yeah, so this I'm in a new station tonight, and that's why we just went live just now, and I didn't have an intro or anything, so just did this as quickly as possible. But I'll work on the how everything looks in the future. So I do have excuse me two let's see here two camera angles I'm working with. So this because we're going to be doing this for 3 hours, so I've got to get up here once in a while. So that'll be another camera angle if I could stand up and talk to you guys while looking at the game. Oh, great pass, first down already right off the bat from Andy Dalton. Now I'm not going to play-by-play this thing. Play-by-play, that's a skill of its own. And I mean, we could ask Ramsey's here to do the play-by-play, but he's asleep. All right, so that's not going to work out very well. All right, but anyway, so yeah, so we'll have that camera angle too when I need it um, to move around and get up. So for those of you who are following the game at home, also, there's two versions of this. A run up to mid. The Ravens already knew that. They're into this. It's in New Orleans right now, but the Ravens are a good team. They had some trouble. They had some trouble in the early season because of not finishing games. They didn't seem to know how to finish games, and that's kind of been their problem. Had they been able to finish games that they were winning by a lot, they'd be one of the best teams in the league right now. So think about all those games where they were up by 20, 25, whatever, and then they just lost it at the end. They just completely went full, uh, 2000s Cardinals. So, as my brother would say. But yeah, they would be an epic team right now. They would be, my God, they could be 7-1, 6-2 at the worst, probably if they had just been playing like they're supposed to. Who knows? But they're that talented. Don't expect much out of the Saints tonight. Um, I think they're still trying to find who they are. The loss of Sean Payton was not going to be easy. I think we all knew that. They have a quarterback carousel, of course. So Jameis is not playing, so we don't get to see a bunch of really bad interceptions and some really awesome touchdown passes. We just got Andy, the Red Rifle Dalton, but should be okay. So that ended quick. It's already fourth down. They're going to punt now. So all right, let's see who's here tonight. The Gourd King said he had an article and a tweet quoted an article that he tell us about that. Bill Murray, the last time I screamed a game live, yeah, it was probably yeah, I think so. I think you're right. It was the Packers. It was when I had a meltdown during the Packers Bucks game. I went completely insane. Yeah. Oh, you got your thing up to 42 subs. That's awesome, man. Congrats. Let's keep it going. If you like movie reviews, if you like movies, go to the Gourd King. Subscribe there. He's really good at what he does. And he does take review requests. So if you've got your favorite movie that you wanted to hear him review, he said he will consider all submissions. So. You know what, Milena? You know what's really annoying about this? Is that so this remote is to my my stereo system for the television, right? This remote is for the lights, you know, so you can just change them around, boom, 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 turn them off if you want. See how it goes dark all of a sudden? Yeah. But the volume on this one interacts with that. See how it's going off and on? I'm just doing the volume. What are the odds that they're on the same damn frequency? That's stupid. But yeah, it's weird, right? But it's only when I go down, so the mute button still works. Yeah, well, this is a long game. This isn't like any normal live stream, so there's going to be a lot of weird things going on. You know, it's just how it is. There's only so much you can talk about during advertisements and stuff. So if you guys want to have any football conversations or anything during the downtime of the game, I'm open to do that, you know? So, yeah, let me get that. The squirrel on the porch? Well, the squirrels, well, it's dark now, so they've already gone to their little house. We were considering getting them a house and seeing if, because we have one, we have one that's pregnant. Her name's Catherine. So we have three. We have Bobo, Catherine, and Simba. So Catherine's pregnant. So maybe we can build a house and have them and little squirrel babies. I can install like one of those little cameras, those little night vision cameras, and y'all can watch it. I can stream it live here on Vaughn Allen Sports. We call it Vaughn Allen Squirrels, and we just take over the animal world too, you know. So on offense, Ravens have lost wide receiver Rashad Bateman and Juan James. On defense, they've lost Michael Pierce and Kyle Fuller. Lost more than that, but those are the out for season guys. So Lamar starting about the 13. Now, you know, this isn't necessarily, well, hang on. There he goes. Oh, yeah, he just got smacked. See, that's the problem with being a running quarterback is that easily could have been a bad injury. The flag, they threw a flag. Hands to the face. Hands to the face. I can give you a hands to the face. Man, that game last night, Chiefs and Titans. Did you guys see the refs kind of massaging things? I want to know. Oh, yeah. Offensive lineman got it. Yep. Can't do that. All right. So that gives Baltimore first and 10. But did you guys see last night that Titans-Chiefs game? Apparently, when the Kansas City Chiefs are playing, when you go for a two-point conversion, you get a new set of downs. So if you don't get it on the first try, if you don't get it on the second try, we'll give you a third try, and then you'll finally get it, right? So, and that was the game. I mean, the game was on the line. And that was the worst pass I've ever seen. Holy crap. What was that? I just glanced over real quick. I was looking at the camera. I looked over. Let's see. Okay, I wanted to see the replay of Lamar, not Deshaun Jackson, but all right, cool. Do you guys remember Deshaun Jackson's rookie year when he was on the Eagles and he thought he was about to score a touchdown, so he dropped the ball at the one, trying to showboat, and the play was still live, and they lost it. They lost the ball. Idiots. Hey, Mickey,
Yeah.
do I have any Gatorade left
Yeah.
until the soda gets here? We ordered some new Coke. I ran out. We had to order it. We had to express order it from whatever the hell that is, that app thing. So, yeah. Well, I don't know what I'm gonna do. See, I'm a little just. I got to get into this, man. I need something.
A booster.
Yeah, I need something here. All right.
Need a purple soda.
Third and 11. Oh, great coverage. I just want a good game. I honestly, I have no real. I mean, I know that the Saints are in the division, same division as Tom, but I just don't see them as a long-term threat. Even if they won a game, you know. So even if they won this game, I just don't see them as a long-term. I know the record would be catch them up, but on the long timeline that is regular season, that starts to filter itself out at the end. Thank you so much. You trying to hide? She's trying to hide. She doesn't know if I'm going to turn on that distant camera or not. You better be prepared. I'm bound to do anything. All right, so this is gonna have to help me until I get the Coke here. Von Allen Squirrels. Da 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 da. Okay. I'm going to write to these software people who do the Ecam, and I'm going to tell them that I want to be able to customize how these super chats and just regular chats, like this isn't a super chat, but how these regular chats come up here on the screen. I want to tell them that I need to customize that. So, all right, guys, before we get into this, game's just getting started. Just bear with me here. I'm going to pull up a score box. I'm going to try to get that going too. So, although I'm almost certain that all of you guys are watching the game with me, so I'm pretty sure. Mm. Yeah, Tyler, I saw that. That was garbage. The Minuteman, you met Alicia Silverstone. Where'd you meet her? The Gourd King. There's a Coke shortage. Yes, we're gonna have a members meeting uh, about the Coke shortage, and you know whose fault it is, and it's something's got to be done. So there is a Coke problem, but not the kind you think it is. If you're just tuning in, I want to welcome you to Von Allen Sports. This is our first live stream during a game of this year. We're just trying it out, see how it goes, have some fun here, make this game a little more interesting, because if I was just sitting here by myself watching it, it's okay. It's still football, but, it's not a great matchup. I think it's I don't know what the schedule makers thought about this one. I see why you would schedule Baltimore, but the Saints weren't really primed to do a lot. They're still kind of even before the season. I think we all knew that it was going to be difficult for them. So. Oh, pick. Oh, of course, a flag. See, this is the problem with the NFL, man. You can't enjoy the moment anymore. You got to look for a flag. You can be excited. You can be like, yes, let's go. Whatever. Awesome, awesome play. A flag. Okay, that happened last night when Patrick Mahomes threw that awesome pass, and in the overtime, I think it was. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, wow, that was incredible. Uh-oh, flag. And even though they picked the flag up, the flag ruined the moment. It ruined that that excellent feeling you get. And it used to not be like that all the time. It's just everything is a flag now. It's just, and I'm not arguing, with all the calls. I'm not saying they're bad calls. It's just they happen all the time. It seems like, and it's always in the big moments. It's just annoying, actually. I mean, I guess what I mean is I have to stop my enthusiasm to look and see if there is a flag or not, and it's just I don't know. It gets annoying sometimes. How about Geno Smith? How about Geno Smith in Seattle, man? I'm gonna have to give props to Pete Carroll and his group, and and how well they're playing. I told you guys at the beginning of the season. I said they're in tank mode, and oh, great stop. Good stop on Kamara right there. I thought he had it. Kamara, however you want to say it. Third down, Saints. But yeah, with Seattle, it's crazy. I mean, uh, this is how I've been saying the quarterback is important, but the location is important too. I mean, people you know underestimate that, and they think that, oh, you can put oh my God, wow, 3rd and 1, they give it to Kamara and they get stuffed. All right, cool. Ravens defense, man. I bet money that Sean Payton, if he was coaching, he would have thrown that ball. If that was Sean Payton and Drew Brees, they throw that ball. I bet you. I, Great play, great read by the Ravens. But yeah, so with location and where you go, Geno Smith has been around for what, a decade now. I mean, he was a quarterback for Rex Ryan's Jets. That's how long he's been around, and now he's finally, he's making good plays. He's just he doesn't look anything like the quarterback that we've known him to be, and the team itself is playing well, and it just goes to show you that for a quarterback, location is very important. I mean, but you go on Twitter and you see the Chiefs fans, but here in the Patrick Mahomes, he would be fantastic anywhere. Well, no, he wouldn't. It depends on the situation because each quarterback has a skill set, and if you're not going to utilize that skill set, it's not going to work. So, what are you going to do then? If you got a quarterback that, let's say, for example, is immobile and doesn't run around, he's just a pocket passer, and you're on a team built like the Ravens, for example, and that doesn't really want to do that, and didn't really plan for that, and didn't draft around that like they drafted for Lamar Jackson. They knew they wanted to go in that direction. Um, I did a short documentary years ago. This is before Vaughn Sports, I'm pretty sure, but talking about how Colin Kaepernick had a job set for him with Baltimore because they were going in that direction, and Kaepernick could have made the perfect backup, for that situation. He screwed that up. We all know about that. But the point is that Baltimore was going in that direction, and that's what they were building around. So what if you just interrupt that process after they've built all around this style of quarterback for Lamar, and then you just drop in a pocket passer, but you don't change anything. You don't change the philosophy. Yeah, well, that isn't going to go well, right? And so where the quarterback goes is everything. And credit to Andy Reid when he moved up in the draft to get Patrick Mahomes. He knew what he wanted. He knew the guy he wanted, And he's like, okay, this guy is perfect for what we're trying to do, what we've been doing. And Alex has taken us this far. We just need a guy who can take us to the next level. And he thought that was Patrick Mahomes, and he drafted him correctly. Mahomes people give the Bears crap. Oh, they drafted Mitch Trubisky. They should have drafted Patrick Mahomes. I mean, if the Bears don't change, if the Bears don't adjust to that, would it matter? No, it wouldn't matter. I mean, would he be better? Would he play for the Bears better than Mitch Trubisky? Of course he would. But would he be Patrick Mahomes that we know? No, not even close. So, how we doing? Are we good?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Delivery. Boom. Here we go. Yeah, how'd you pull that off? But, yeah. Very nice. Now I'll hang on to the Gatorade too. Mix it up a little bit. So. Location is important, guys. I mean, there's some really bad scenarios too that quarterbacks could go to, and there's just no chance. That they've got no chance. You know. And then you've got teams that make a quarterback look better than they really are, and you're kind of deceived, and you're kind of like, huh, that's interesting. Interestingly enough, I think the team that we're watching right now can do that. I think the Ravens are one of those organizations, and that can. It's stable. It's got stable coaching, it's stable ownership, and for a long time had stable general management. I mean, I'm not saying that what they got now is not. I'm just saying that Ozzie Newsome was a fantastic general manager. And let's be honest, it made Joe Flacco look pretty good, and enough to where he had that great run in 2012. And that great playoff Super Bowl run from Joe Flacco was excellent. And then he got paid big money. That was the mistake. You paid him. You shouldn't have paid him because, Baltimore's not that kind of team. They're not that type of team. And, it could have worked maybe. I mean, 2014, the Ravens did pretty good. It looked like they were going to beat us, the Patriots, in the divisional. And we were down twice, 14 points. We're down by 14 twice in that game. And so they could have gone on and made a run. Who knows, So, because, I mean, they were playing. They were right there. You don't think that they could have gone on and beat the Colts in the AFC Championship game that year? They probably could have matched up with them pretty good, So, the Ravens, they just switched their style. What I respect about Lamar from his first year to the second year. So, I mean, you guys remember his first year, he took over for Flacco mid-year, got destroyed in that playoff game, and I think it was the Chargers. And he just couldn't throw the ball. He couldn't complete a pass. It was ridiculous. He just looked like a deer in headlights, right? And then over the summer, everyone was calling him a running back, and it was pissing him off. And he was going on different shows and stuff, and then talking about how that was getting to him in certain ways as far as motivation. And he did that, and then he came back, said, "Okay, look, I can throw," and then he won MVP. That was like, wow, that you don't see that kind of mental toughness. A lot of quarterbacks can't do that. Most quarterbacks can't do that. They can't change who they are or redesign themselves or admit that they're doing something wrong or they're not good at something or not good enough. So, pocket collapsed on Lamar just now. So, 3rd and 8. More times than not, he can usually do something there, but it was too fast and there was nobody open, so nowhere to go with the ball. He was trying to do a screen pass. It was too dangerous. I tell you what, man, there's energy in that New Orleans dome, though. I have a few friends who are Saints fans who have been to games in the Mercedes-Benz Dome, Superdome. It's crazy. They say it's crazy. Like the energy is like none other, you know. So crowd can do a lot for a team if the team is responding. Okay, so then you know because sometimes you've got those situations like where the Bucks crowd is into it. They're in the zone, like James Johnson was saying yesterday. They're in the zone, but the players are just and if Tom hadn't had that comeback at the end, if that didn't happen, the Bucks would still be walking around like zombies, and they would have gone into next week's game in Germany walking around like zombies. It wasn't until Tom had that last drive, and then boom, that woke the team up. Look at the Saints. It's interesting. I mean, their defense is making plays, and apparently they didn't get the memo that they're the underdog tonight. But yeah, back to Lamar. I was just saying that um, you don't see that evolution of a quarterback or remaking of themselves, you know. In the music industry, we'd call that the David Bowie effect. You know, where David Bowie, every decade that he was in, he changed himself. He would reinvent himself. And some quarterbacks have done that, not very many. Of course, one of the most obvious is, of course, Brady. Tom Brady went from a guy who entered the league as we're just going to not make, you know, we're going to keep the mistakes down to minimum, take the easy throw, take the throw that makes the most sense, nothing flashy, nothing crazy. Didn't mean he couldn't do it. It's just that was the kind of skill set that they were asking for him. He didn't take his workouts as seriously. He'd eat McDonald's, all that stuff. And it was good enough, you know, like that was as good enough. But then he's like, okay, well, what if I change? What if I evolve in a certain way? It's 3rd and 1 for the Ravens. Oh my God. Okay, that even faked me. Okay, I thought the running back had it up the middle, so that was pretty good. All right, so Lamar with the quarterback keeper. All right, so that's an old school term. I think I just dated myself, Milena. I just said quarterback keeper. Does anyone even use that anymore? All right. So back to what I was saying is that with Tom, you know, so that's how they started out with. Hang on just a second. They're basically in the red zone. I want to see this. There goes Lamar. Well, he's going to throw it. He's going to throw it. He's going to throw it. Wide open. Touchdown. Let's go. You know, it was most likely going to go to likely, right? Okay. Wonk, wonk. That was lame. Isaiah Likely, 24-yard touchdown. Now, right there, guys, that's the benefit. That is the benefit of having a running quarterback who can run, but it can also throw the ball when he has to. The whole Saints team was just biting on that. Like everybody, I saw the Saints coaches biting on that. I saw a Saints cheerleader coming onto the field trying to tackle Lamar Jackson, thinking that Lamar is going to keep it. And boom, there you go. 100th career touchdown pass for Lamar Jackson. Congrats, Lamar. Not bad for a running quarterback. So we're at advertisement now. All right, 1:23 left in the first quarter. Ravens 7-0. All right. So what was I saying? Yeah, about evolution of quarterback. So Brady went from a quarterback that was, doing those things, just being patient and not making mistakes, run the football, screen pass, that kind of stuff, and it just moved the sticks, first down, death by, 1,000 paper cuts, as they say, doing a lot of that, a lot of Kevin Falk stuff, and of course that stuff stayed as a staple later on, but that was just what Tom was being asked to do, making the smart plays, and then if you see an opening, take it and take your shot, right? Then things started to change. the defense of the first dynasty. It's always been one dynasty in my opinion, but let's say the early dynasty, the early parts, the 01, 03, and 04 Super Bowl champ Patriots. Those guys, a lot of those guys were Parcells and Pete Carroll era guys. They were getting up there as far as football terms. The things were changing a bit. Tom realized, maybe I need to do more and put more on my shoulders, make this team about the offense. And that's what he did. He changed and he started working on arm strength, the deep ball. He was already doing that in 06. So if you guys remember 06 where he went to the AFC Championship game against the Colts, he was already doing that with a lot of good role players, solid dudes. They just weren't big play guys, every down big play guys that you could expect from them. They could not stretch the defense. Nobody was really a solid perimeter wide receiver. But you could see that he was working on those things and he was, throwing it deep quite a bit. And then he got Randy Moss and then it was all about that. So he completely changed. And then when they brought in the 2 tight end sets and all that, he went for that and he just altered his game. And then at the end of the 2010s, so the 2014, 2016, 2018 Super Bowl wins, Tom, they were back to that precision stuff, go deep whenever you feel like it kind of thing. So Tom kind of changed his workout regimen. Then he went to Tampa Bay and he worked on arm strength again. He went back, got bigger, got more solid, worked on his agility more. He thought, okay, so this Tampa team is a different team. This is the whole Bruce Arians, Air Coryell. Let's air that out all the time. And he changed again. The guy just alters his body, he can do whatever you need him to do. And even, he's even got good footwork in the pocket, great footwork actually. So I respect Lamar because not very many people can do that. James Johnson says, Cherry Torca-Cola. Giselle just divorced a quarterback keeper. Did I date myself on that, guys? Be honest. Does anyone say that anymore? Do they say that? Like any of you young guys out there who are just in high school recently, and does anyone say that anymore? Does anyone say quarterback keeper anymore? That's funny. All right. As soon as it came out of my mouth, I was like, oh my God. Like, that was weird. James Johnson sends the first super chat of the night, I believe. $2 super chat. He says, read Gord King's comment on Giselle. Okay, I already did. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, bloody pleb. Exactly. Tom, I don't think he made the Pro Bowl in 02. He led the league in touchdowns that year. But we all know that the Pro Bowl is complete and utter bullshit. So I think I missed something there. Oh, yeah. So that Campbell, man, he's a big ass dude. I've been around Calais in person. I've seen him in person. By the way, can't believe he's still playing. He's got to be in his mid-30s by now. But I mean, he's still playing at a pretty high level at his age for a guy that big and that has been around that long. But I've been around Calais. The guy is just massive. It's insane. As Colin Cowherd would say, he's just a big, thick boy. Big, thick, long, thick man. That's what Colin Cowherd says. So. James Johnson. So see, James bailed me out. He still calls it quarterback keeper. Okay. See, I feel better now because James is a young guy. This camera's still on. Let's see. Yeah. The red rifle. By the way, Ravens picked up some good pieces, man. I respect it. And some guys that people thought were not relevant anymore or not important. Um, Calais Campbell, Justin Houston, and the one that pisses me off the most, Jason Pierre-Paul. I don't know why Tampa would let him go. Let me tell you something about Jason Pierre-Paul. I don't care if they want to say that he lost the step or whatever. I want you to go back and watch the Super Bowl, Super Bowl mic'd up with between the Chiefs and the Bucks. Okay, I want you to keep an eye. Just watch Jason Pierre-Paul the whole time. This is a scary person. Okay, he is a massive, big, thick, long guy, right? As Colin Cowherd would say. But big dude, scary. I mean, he's not a guy that you would want to run into a dark alley with and then he's like wanting to try to hurt you. He's a scary person. If I was a quarterback and saw Jason Pierre-Paul coming at me all pissed off, that would suck. Like there's a lot of these guys, I mean, just because they're big and stuff, that you don't take them as seriously. You're not like, oh my God, they're coming after me. There's a certain type of guy that you're just like, this guy scares me. Like Aaron Donald wouldn't scare me. Okay, Aaron Donald looks like somebody's neighbor's little brother who just ate too many Twinkies and is pretty big guy or whatever. But okay, I'm just kidding. That's a bad shot. Aaron Donald's a great athlete, but still, Aaron Donald's face, he just looks like somebody's kid brother. Like it's not. He's not, vicious like that. But Jason Pierre-Paul has that viciousness to him, and that teeth thing he does with the grill or whatever the hell they call it. So that right there, that intensity that Pierre-Paul has. I mean, how much could he have cost, right? I think the Ravens paid him $1 million. Really, come on, just to have him around. I don't care if he is missing a finger or two. Okay, just to have him around, have him there. And the intensity he brings. Again, watch the mic'd up. Watch the intensity this guy has. He's all over the place. It's great. But I respect the Ravens for doing that. They gone out and got them 3 guys that people thought were kind of done. So. That's awesome. I love that. Austin Thomas. Watching Harbaugh talk real quick. Okay, so from that sack on 4th down, Saints are punting out of their own end zone. By the way, speaking of punting, what about the Bucks punter, man? That that guy, that guy was fantastic. That's one of the best punts I've ever seen. What was it, like 76 yards? Yeah, my God, he punted that thing from the 1, I believe. Thing went all the way across. I was like, what the hell happened? Did the ball just like, suddenly just sprout wings or something? It was incredible. And he had 2 great punts, in fact. That's what kind of game that was yesterday, the Rams Bucks, where we're getting excited about punts. So, what you doing? Come here. Come here, kiddo. I probably got too much stuff up here. Melina. I probably got too much stuff up here, so she can't sit down. You gonna help me out? Yeah, whatever you call him, Anthony. I don't know. JPP. Yeah, he had the gold teeth and all that. It just um, yeah, but I mean, he looks like a scary man. It's crazy.
Cut that out of the
But
camera.
I love that. What? No, it's all. Austin Thomas says, um, if Donald had two helmets in his hands, I'd be scared. Well, that's you know nothing like Aaron Donald. Everyone says, oh, he's a classy guy, right? And he writes, um, choose love on his helmet while he's hitting a guy with a helmet. That's that's classy. Aaron Donald, fuck Aaron Donald. Okay, so I just don't like the guy. He's a great player. I'll admit that. That's all. So take that. So first down, Ravens on 3rd and 4. You got to convert those third downs, man. It sounds like basic stuff, basic coach speak, but telling you what, look at the teams that convert third downs, and they are usually the winners. So something that the Bucks still can't learn from. So yeah, I don't need this at the moment. So thank you, Milena. By the way, guys, Saturday night is our 100th episode. 100th episode of On Sports Live. Can you believe it? VS Live, 100 episodes. It's insane, right? Milena will be back for that. And then she'll be joining me from now on like it used to be. So right now I'm a emperor without an empress. I am a king without a queen. And that will end Saturday. Basically, the reason Milena is missing is because we were trying to do our best impression of Tom and Giselle. So if Tom didn't have a lady, so Milena's like, well, you can't have it either. So it's not good. Nice. Oh, sorry, I was reacting to that throw to the sidelines by Lamar. Usually, you can tell. Here's a little trick for you guys if you don't pick up on it. But I'm sure a lot of you do because we have the most clever football fans on YouTube. And I'm not just saying that. I'm not blowing smoke. Seriously, I get in conversations with you guys, and we're thinking the same stuff all the time. So I'm sure, but you never know who knows what or any of that. So there's a little tell about a quarterback when you can't see on the TV because they're showing the quarterback throw the ball, right? You can see there's a body reaction if he's got a wide open guy or if he thinks he's got a guy. Oh, that could have been a good play too. But see, Lamar got out of that. There's this reaction that quarterbacks give. It's hard, kind of hard to explain it because you're looking at them from a distance, but their body mechanics kind of change and it gets kind of excited. It's not so tight. It's very loose and it's like jumping at the chance. You can read them and know if they've got a wide open guy. And almost every time I see that, field, it's a completed pass somewhere downfield. It's on long passes where you cannot see the receivers, but you can kind of feel it and predict that it's coming. And I saw that in Lamar. He had that, but he threw it too far, threw it to the sidelines, and well, there was double coverage there anyway. But I think it could have been a completed pass with a little better throw. All right. Yeah, Gord King. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about as far as Aaron Donald. He just his facially, like you don't look at him and think, oh, I fear him or whatever. But then there's those guys that just have that look, that look like they're just going to murder you. And of course, nobody had that look like Lawrence Taylor. Okay, and that was probably because he was high on cocaine. But still, you know, imagine that. Imagine having a Lawrence Taylor that's coked up coming at you and wanting to destroy you. That kind of sucks. But yeah, Aaron Donald. Yeah, he's I'm not saying he sucks at all by no stretch of imagination. Great player. I just don't like him. So, but yeah, good player. He's like a lot like Reggie White. Okay, as far as in this theme of the face is deceiving to the plays, to the how good they are. So Reggie White, always a nice guy. I mean, we his nickname was the Minister of Defense because he was a preacher. Okay, very nice guy. Even looks like a nice guy. I mean, you walk up to Reggie White, if you didn't know who he was, and you would just be like, this guy is a nice dude, But he played like an animal, right? And Aaron Donald has that kind of look to him, like he looks like a nice guy. He's not a nice guy though; he's actually a dick, but he looks like a nice guy. And then you got Lawrence Taylor that just, yeah, you feel like if I say one wrong thing to this guy, it's not going to go well, probably. Although from what I hear, Lawrence Taylor is actually a pretty cool dude as well. So. James Johnson says the Bucs punter got the game ball. That's awesome because he deserves it. Bloody Pleb says the passer rating is the dumbest stat of all time. In 2002, Brady has a rating of 85.7 with 2014 3,764 yards, but Cam Newton in 2020 has a rating of 82.9 with 810, of course, with 2,657 yards. 8 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Exactly. So, Bloody Pleb, I've constantly spoken about this. It's actually it's fine there. Yeah. So I've complained about this quite a bit. Tiffany, what's up, Tiffany? Tiffany's logged on while she's at work. See, that's a hardcore Von Allen Sports member right there. That is hardcore. She's at work and she's logging in just to say hi. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Like, I don't know how long. I mean, we're already in the second quarter. This has actually gone by pretty quickly. That was an ugly game, yeah, yesterday. Bill Murray, Jason Pierre-Paul's motor is different, absolutely different. He's just, I wanted him, I coveted him on the Patriots. I wish that we had him. And I remember in 2011, in that Super Bowl, of course, Super Bowl 46, I was like, man, they're so lucky that they've got him. And it's just, I was hoping one day the Patriots could bag him. You know what? There's some guys that Bill doesn't go after, and it's a testament to Bill and how important style is to him. And whether a guy can be great, but if he doesn't fit his defense, it's just he'll pass on them. Like he never would bring Von Miller in. And as much as I wanted Von Miller, and I don't mean that as if he's listening to me. I don't. That's not what I meant. I just meant I've always wanted Von Miller on the Patriots. But even when he was available or gettable, Bill would never look that way. And it's because Von you've got to let him roam free. You've got to let Von kind of do his thing. And Bill is more of a, you play by the system and you play by how everything is working as one. So, and it's worked for him. So I'm not going to argue that point. This is more of just from a fan desire kind of thing. It would have been nice back then to see Von Miller hitting other quarterbacks for Tom Brady instead of hitting Tom Brady. Jason Pierre-Paul was a very similar thing where he was gettable, but didn't particularly fit. You saw what happened with Chris Long when he was with us in 2016. Chris Long, by the way, biggest bitch, all right, biggest bitch of these guys from the NFL, and his podcast sucks ass, by the way. But Chris Long, such a baby, all right. So he left the Patriots, even though he won a ring with them. He just bounced around. He bounced to the Eagles next, won a ring with them, ironically. But he left the Patriots, and it was because he wasn't getting enough solo attention. He wasn't getting to be the dude, and he was part of a system. He was part of a group and a team instead of being that one guy. I remember in the Super Bowl 2016 when you against the Falcons, Super Bowl 51, where the comeback was happening. Dante Hightower hit Matt Ryan, the big fumble, of course, and on the sidelines, Chris Long is all pissed off because Dante got there first, and you could just see how that is his mentality. And he admitted these things. He said these things, and he said that was the reason why he left New England. So that's what happens when Bill signs a guy that is more, is a stat guy and wants to be more of a free dude on defense, and it just doesn't work. But respect to Bill. I mean, he makes it work somehow. He takes a lot of guys that nobody wanted, a bunch of cast-offs, and turns them into solid-ass players. It's crazy. So, I mean, look at Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel was a Steeler, and it's just he became a centerpiece kind of guy. So more modernly, you look at Rob Ninkovich, Kyle Van Noy. These guys weren't guys that were taken seriously. Rob Ninkovich, Sean Payton, when he had him, he told him that he would be a long snapper. Like, there was no room for him there in New Orleans. So we all know about Rob Ninkovich. So that's just crazy. Kyle Van Noy was with Detroit Lions, and nobody cared about him. And it just, and then all of a sudden he gets a call. He's going to New England, and his whole career is resurrected, and everything is different for him. So Bill knows how to pick these guys, man. When it comes to defense, I don't question Bill. I just let it be, even if it's weird, So the last time I questioned Bill Belichick was signing Stephon Gilmore. And I was like, how can you not sign Malcolm Butler, give Malcolm his money, and why are you signing Stephon Gilmore, who Tom Brady burned 1,000,000 times when we played Buffalo? And I couldn't believe it. I was pissed off. You probably remember me griping about it. And Stephon Gilmore turned out to be one of our best players. Okay? So, no, I don't question Bill anymore about stuff like that. Elliot, Ravens, where are you at right now? Are you still in Washington? Are you still on the naval base? All right, so Lamar Jackson starting at the 19. 9 minutes left in the second quarter. First down. Oh, Lamar, dude, let me tell you something. A lot of these running quarterbacks, just go back and look throughout history. They don't have touch, okay? They have great arm strength, huge power in the arm, but touch is not something that is really they have a hard time laying it right in on a soft pass that just you barely need to just throw in it. Michael Vick had that problem. He had a lot of difficulty with touch passes, touch throws. It's just he could throw it with the flick of his wrist 70 freaking yards. It was insane. But when it came to a touch pass, see that right there, that was a big play that just was lost. Most quarterbacks hit that play, But he just followed it up with a really nice sideline throw, a good sideline catch there. But that one he missed would have gone for a lot more. I think they had a safety though back there. It wouldn't have gone for a TD. Flag. An eligible man downfield. Justin Houston. Justin Houston. All right. I was just complimenting him, and now he goes and does that. What are you doing, dude? Are they trying to be cute or something, putting him out there? Like, I guess. I don't know. You guys remember the old days when the Patriots used to put Mike Vrabel out there on offense? Do you know every one of Mike Vrabel's catches are touchdown catches? It's amazing. He almost dropped that one in the Eagles Super Bowl, though. He bobbled it, but he caught it. Oh, that was a good salvage by Lamar there. Sloppy ass play, but the Saints were coming hard. Oh, I just said that. I just said the Saints are coming hard. Okay.
Doesn't sound like you.
Austin Thomas sends a $2 super chat. Says, you see about Jeff Saturday? Oh my gosh. Okay. So what Austin's talking about is the Colts fired Frank Reich. Frank the Fourth Reich. Frank Reich has been fired. You will be fired and you will be happy. That is an order. Frank Reich is fired because of his shitty quarterback. All right. Jeff Saturday, yes, the same Jeff Saturday that used to be the center for Peyton Manning and for a little bit of time for Aaron Rodgers is now the head coach of the Indianapolis Dolphins. All right. James Johnson, I think, was the guy recently who originally posted the idea that the Colts were tanking, and I picked up on that. Of course, I completely agreed with that, especially going into the Patriots game. And now it's guaranteed. It's done. It is decided. It is decided. So, yeah. Stupid Colts. I don't know how many times in the past when I've done things like this, like live games, people log on and they think that I've got the game. And so they get pissed off if I don't have the game. They get all mad. Nobody has the game on YouTube. You can't do that. The stream would be shut down. You would think that they'd know that. I got an idea. If you love football so much, I mean, you get, well, if you can't afford cable, there are a lot of websites, free websites actually, different kinds. So, I mean, there's always a way to watch the game, Don't need to take it out on me. Absolutely, Gord King. Absolutely. I've said that since that day. If you guys have been with me since back then, you'll know that I was screaming Stephon Gilmore should have been the MVP of Super Bowl 53. And here's why. No matter what, it had to be somebody from the defense. Okay? That's just hands down, had to be someone from the defense. So you need a representative from the defense. And who had a better game that day, affected more than Stephon Gilmore? His stat line is very good. A lot of passes defended, had the pick, had the breakup, a lot of stuff. But you needed to be a representative from the defense. They gave it to Julian Edelman for just a bunch of catches, but those yards didn't amount to anything. It kept it a field position game, but it didn't really convert. When you hold the Rams team that had a great offense and you hold them to 3 points in a Super Bowl, it's got to be a defensive representative. The only way it's not is if Tom and his offense had put up 30 points 30, 35 points, and it was 30 to 35 to 3. And then you could argue, well, the offense is what gave the defense kind of the leeway to gamble and play a little more risky, and it paid off, right? You could say that, and Tom had like a bunch of touchdowns, or Julian had a touchdown catch, and then they had those 100 yards, and they were converting to points. Another overthrow by Lamar. Dude, find the touch, please. What are you doing? Yeah, hit yourself in the head. Yeah, that's going to make it better. Tom was doing that yesterday. But, yeah, then I would understand about the MVP. But with it being 13 to 3, and for almost the whole game, there wasn't a touchdown scored, you just cannot give it to an offensive player. I'm sorry. I love Julian. Okay, he's one of my favorite Patriots of all time, easily. But this isn't about favoritism. That's not what this is about. This is about what is earned and what should be correct. And people, they just look at offense all the time. And in that particular case, normally I would say yes, but in that particular case, I would say no. There's a lot of Super Bowl MVPs that I've disagreed with over time. I disagree with the 07 Giants giving it to Eli Manning. It's a very similar situation. Should have been a representative from the Giants D. For the Giants defense to hold the greatest offense that the world has ever seen, it's just, it's insane, God, I hate that commercial. These commercials suck. They absolutely are garbage. Yeah, Bill Murray, that is interesting. Bill Murray says, I like Julian Edelman getting it because it lines up with the first 3 championships. Of course, what he's referring to is in 01 and 03, Tom Brady won. 04, it went to Deion Branch, the wide receiver. So in 2014 and 2016, it goes to Tom Brady. 2018, it goes to Julian Edelman, wide receiver. So he likes the symmetry there. Austin Thomas, a huge case could be made for James White. But as good as he played, no other quarterback in the history of the world would have made that comeback besides Tom Brady. It was simply because he was there, simply because he was on the team, that everyone was just believed that they could do it. And of course, he had that. That's not the only reason. It's his stat line was good enough too. But a situation like that, it has to go to Tom. I think that was rightfully placed. But yeah, James White had a great game of his life. Okay, actually, a game of most people's lives. Even famous players, great players, Hall of Fame players haven't had games like what James White experienced and what he got to do. God, I wish he was on the Bucs right now. I know he's retired, but come on, man. Tom needs some reliable Patriots. There goes Lamar again. Oh, what a move for the first down. Awesome. See, that's big stuff right there. That's exciting. I prefer pocket passing. I love pocket passing, but still, it's cool to see a guy just break the ankles of all these dudes and just make something out of nothing. But I remember I saw an interview with Lamar Jackson before the Patriots-Ravens game in 2019. Me and Milena were driving to Phoenix to see my brothers, and we were listening to Lamar Jackson's interview, and he said, I want to be like Tom Brady. Tom Brady was his hero. And I think that liking Tom Brady and that kind of admiration that he had for Tom probably motivated him to really start learning how to throw the ball and doing things correctly. So
So, okay, explain that.
Huh? That's too easy. First down. Right at the 1. Oh, no, they're going to spot it inside the 2, just barely. He just missed his assignment. I just say I hate seeing football like that where people just miss stuff. I want to see a guy beat the other guy because he's just better, not because of some just lapse in judgment. That's too easy. Touchdown. Kenyon Drake, 1-yard touchdown run. All right. So are we going to get a good game here? Like, is that what this is going to turn into, as a blowout? So if the Saints can get down the field, at least get a field goal before half, then maybe there's something there. We'll see. Yeah, Austin had a good point here. He said, I wanted to say in crunch time, um, Tom went to Scotty Miller and Otten in big spots. Uh, how much do you want to bet Byron doesn't get them more involved? Well, what seems to me, what the Bucs seem to be doing is they're force feeding their players based on how famous their name is and how much they're getting paid. And you just can't do that. Sometimes those guys are just not playing well enough or not good enough to get that kind of treatment, and they're just not in the zone there. And I'm not saying you just completely stop throwing the ball to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, guys like that, but they're just making mistakes. Mike Evans has been making a lot of mistakes. He's running the wrong routes. He seems to be confused at times. He drops passes like crazy. He seems to freak out when there's the defense is closing in on him. He doesn't seem to want to lay out for a ball. It's just there's a lot of like business decisions that he makes, if you know what I mean. I think when a guy is doing that, I don't care who they are, how much they make, there's times where you're going to have to start looking elsewhere. And I agree with you, Austin, that I just don't think that Byron is the type of guy who would start to implement and change some things based around that. If Bill Belichick was the coach of the Bucs, Mike Evans would be in the doghouse right now, and there'd be a lot of interesting talks, in the wide receivers room. So, and even I know Chris Godwin's coming back from injury and stuff, but how long is it going to take? Okay, really. If you're back, you're back. If you're not ready, don't come back. Don't be on the field because then you're a liability. Because if you're not ready to come back, there's other guys who are healthy that can fill that void. And Chris Godwin is practically useless in most cases so far. Julio Jones, I don't know. I don't know about him anymore. But Scotty Miller seems to have a way to get open. He seems to just have a knack for getting open. But that drop, that's That thing bouncing off of him last night in the end zone, that was bad. That was really bad. But I agree with you, Austin. I agree that, Byron won't go, oh, look, Alden, Scotty, they're making some plays. Maybe we should get them more involved. Yeah, I would be shocked if he makes that adjustment. Leftwich won't be fired, and because he's not fireable. That's the problem, There's been too much going on lately that it just makes it impossible almost. But that's what sucks about it. I mean, Frank Reich just got fired. And honestly, it's shocking. I was completely blown away by this. I don't know if anybody saw this coming. So let's see if the Red Rifle can run the 2-minute drill here and get them some points. Here goes Kamara. Nice run. Just 1 yard short of the first down. Get them back. They got 3 timeouts. They're in good shape. No reason to make a stupid mistake. Just take what the defense gives you here. You got plenty of time. 3rd and 1. Just give it to Kamara. Or you could quarterback sneak, I guess. That's also an option. And that's what he does. Okay. So quarterback sneak for the first down. Red Rifle. Look at him. My God, that mustache. Did he? I mean, I thought it was red before. Is that just that he brighten it? Jesus. Yeah, it's crazy, right? And an injury. Okay. So now the Saints are going to be forced to use a timeout. 2 timeouts left. They got to make something happen here. They got to give them, as LaShawn McCoy would say, they got to give them crazy work. Crazy work. If you guys have not seen that episode with LaShawn McCoy from the channel I Am Athlete, you got to see that. LaShawn McCoy is a funny dude, man. I could watch him talk about football for 5 hours, man. So, Gord King says, Frank Reich got fired after week 9. Week 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. My neighbors are probably like, oh, I knew it. That guy was Republican and now he's talking like a Nazi. I knew it. Confirmed. Idiots. All right. Yeah, Tyler, there were drops that won't, like I said last night in that brief commentary I did. I think they registered 6 drops on the stat sheet, correct? There are more than that, but there are certain criteria that you have to have in order to be registered as a drop. But we all know there were more than that. Let's just be honest here. So. Unfortunately, Anthony, what happened with Miami it's got everyone freaked out, and it's unfortunate. See, that's the problem though. When you go too far one direction, then it can have a bad result. It can come back to where what's going to happen is a lot of teams they're going to be afraid to hire black coaches. They're going to be afraid to, because then they're going to think, okay, is there going to be some kind of situation or whatever? It's going to have the opposite effect. And that's why you can't do that. That's why you need to hire based on merit, and interviews fine, but being forced to do something, you can't do it that way, because it will actually come back and have a negative result. And I think that's what you're going to see. Look who the Dolphins hired. They went with a white dude that nobody knows or cares about or even has done anything in the NFL. So you're absolutely correct. So Tampa and the way they've, you know, I just don't see it. I don't see it. I'd be completely blown away if they got rid of Leftwich, even though he needs to be left. Leftwich needs to be left by the side of the road. And we got more of those.
Yeah, I saw it. That's why this time I think you already got,
Bloody pleb completion percentage is a weird stat, and it seems to be something that people embrace quite a bit. Like with anything, when you do a percentage, you need context. If you throw more footballs, throw more passes, then your completion percentage, it's more difficult to have a high completion percentage, right? That's just basic math. The less you throw, the more likely your completion percentage is going to be higher. So not only that, there's a lot of offenses that throw a lot of screen passes, a lot of short, underneath balls that are basically replacing a running game that they don't have. And you're going to get completion percentage for that. You're going to get credit for that. And it's misleading. So you have to look at context. No one ever does, but you should. Sometimes it can be great. I'm not saying that all completion percentage is bullcrap. It just needs to be looked at within the context of what the quarterback is doing, how he's performing in general, and how is the team doing. Is it converting to wins? Is it converting to first downs? Are they staying on the field? Are they keeping their defense rested? Are they constantly converting, moving it down? Those are things that also matter. So there's Jason Pierre-Paul, man, the one I was talking about. That's a scary looking dude, isn't he? Imagine him pissed off at you. That would suck, right? All right, the Saints. Look at that. All right, guys, we might have a game here. If O-Red can get him in the end zone, that'd be perfect. Perfect ending to go into the half. There it is. Oh! Just a little bit. Just pull down on that a little. I'm sitting there scolding Lamar Jackson on the touch thing, and Red Rifle completely misses the touch too. You idiot! You freaking... See, that annoys me, actually. High school quarterback could have made that throw. Great defense. Yep. Good coverage by Humphrey there. But yeah, I don't want to be a rah-rah root guy, but we do, it would be nice for the Ravens to win and just kind of push the Saints back. Even though I don't think that they're a threat on the long term, still, you don't want to play with fire here. So, but I do want to see a good game. And it's not personal against the Saints. Next week I may be rooting for them or whatever. I may pick them. This is all just about what I picked to be the winner here. So... Again, And now it's field goal time. See, that's fine. I mean, I said that okay, maybe you could do that, but there's no reason why they don't have 7 right now. This is stupid. There's
Again, same thing.
well that no, Amelia, that was a little harder, a little more difficult. That second one there, but it's still a great quarterback could have put that in there. Yeah. So, and that's why Andy Dalton is Andy Dalton, and that's why Tom Brady's Tom Brady. It's you got to be able to do that. You got to be able to land that in there. All right, so we are at halftime now. Looks like I lost my mascot here. Ramsey's got up, didn't he? All right, so we are 14-3 at the half here. If the Saints, if they could just come out and, I don't know, they've had chances, and this is a great Ravens team in my opinion. I just, they're doing it to themselves. That's the thing about this sport. It's so much of it is unforced errors. It's things that you do to yourself. I know it's cliche, but it's the team that makes the least amount of mistakes. It just always comes to that, doesn't it? If you're yeah, thank you, Tyler. Appreciate that, man. If you're new here, you're just logging on, please subscribe. I think you'll like it here. I think you'll enjoy being a part of this. We have a very tight-knit group here, and we have a lot of fun, actually, a lot of fun on this channel. We interact, and I interact with everybody. I don't ignore your comments like a lot of channels do, where they don't even care that you're there. They don't care that you're involved. It's like you don't mean anything to them. That's not what we do here. So I love that graphic on the fastest 3 minutes where it shows the helmets side by side, and it's like, I think that is so badass, actually. Got to give props to the Jets, man. I just can't believe it. Buffalo's lost 2 games this year, both to AFC East opponents, both division teams. Like we've said before, over and over, division games are weird. You can't count on them to be just a complete run over. You can't. You just can't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think about the teams, what about their records. You've got to look out for those. Everyone making a big deal out of Tua now, and apparently the Dolphins are all of a sudden a hot thing again. They were at the beginning of the year, and now people kind of fell off of them. Now all of a sudden they're like, oh, they're back. Okay. Our offense still, offensive play calling for the Patriots is still kind of pedestrian. I don't like it that much. But good win though over the Colts. All right. Well, you know what? Since it's halftime, I'm gonna have to stand up for a second. But
Take a break.
yeah. All right. Arkansas Pine Bluff lost to TCU. High scoring game, though. Oh, wait a minute. Did I read that correctly? No. Have these college teams ever heard of defense? Do they just not play defense in college anymore? I mean, this is ridiculous. Really? Wait, no, that can't be right. Okay, well that makes more sense. That's because never mind, never mind. What are my thoughts on tomorrow's election? Um,
Not sure.
yeah. Well,
Let's see.
I'll put it this way. All right. Historically speaking, when when a party that is in power, especially, well, traditionally when a party has the presidency, but even more so when a party has the presidency, the House, and the Senate, they have absolute power. When that occurs and the entire country is going down the shitter, that has historically meant that they're going to lose badly in the midterms. That is just how it works. Traditionally in America, there's always been a swing, a pendulum swing. So you go too far one way, it comes back the other way. If everything is legit and no funny business going on, which there will be in certain places, but if it's for the most part, if it's clean, history should take hold and it should be a wipeout for the party that is in power right now. That is just kind of how it works. But this is the worst I've ever seen the country in my lifetime that I've experienced. I've never seen it this bad. And it was on this trajectory within the first few months of 2021, sorry. So it's been like this for a long time, and for anybody who's paying attention or doesn't have their head in the sand. But yeah, it should be a complete wipeout. But I have my suspicions about some things, so we'll see. If it's not, then you'll pretty much know what happens. So. The problem is that right now there's a movement going on in America where the people are starting to take back power, and regular people like us, the regular citizens, are getting fed up. And never before have we all had our focus on the establishment, the long career politicians and stuff. We've always kind of known about them and known that they're crooked. I'm talking both sides, all of them, these what we call the establishment, right? But never before has everyone really been made aware of what's going on. Like, they've revealed themselves, like, the FBI doing whatever it wants to do, it being its own SS and crap like that. They're going all out hardcore, and everyone's aware of this. So usually when people in power in all countries, this is just historically, when people in power start to lose power or can feel it being taken from them, they go all out. They go hardcore. They start freaking out. They start creating investigations, arresting people, looking at this. Propaganda is like completely, 10 times the amount goes up, right? They really start pushing hard because they can feel the end is coming and they're desperate. And people aren't just going to let go, all right? So that's why I don't see it being completely clean. I just don't have much faith in our system at the moment. It needs to get fixed. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, Tyreek Hill's having a great year. He just he's always open, man. He always finds a way. Yeah, Austin Thomas is. I didn't even think about it. How fast until Stephen A. Smith calls Jeff Saturday's hiring as racist? I give it 2 segments. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's probably going to happen. So it's yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah. No. Nope. All right. So okay, I'll be right back, guys. Just gonna there's like a minute or two I think before the third quarter comes back, so I'll return in a second. All right. That was fast. Um, Another flag. Yeah, I just saw that, Biden. That was, let me, it said 9 teams has had a 10-point lead in every game through week 9, including the Ravens. Every other team went 8-1 or 9-0. See, that's what that I'm not surprised because that's what I was saying earlier at the beginning. I said this Ravens team, they should be 8-1, maybe even uh, going 9-0 tonight. Like that's how they've been playing. So people are I don't know if people are sleeping on them, but I get the feeling that people have been sleeping on them. You know what, Melina? I also think these live game sessions like this, I think they'd be a lot more fun if you were on with me.
Oh, okay.
Come on, guys, tell her to get her butt in gear. At least she laughs at my jokes. So,
But you had the nice compliment there.
what?
You had a great compliment by Jared.
Oh, okay. I'll pull it up here. Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, thank you for telling me, Melina. Jared Feldkamp. He says, has had look. He has a purple logo. If it's a match. He says, love your content and views on football. If I was an NFL owner, I'd hire you as a general manager. Thank you, Jared. I appreciate that, man, and welcome. I've not seen you here before. I really appreciate that. That was very nice of you to say. At the very least, if they're not going to hire me for GM, they got to at least let me interview their players, the incoming draft picks and all that. They got to let me because a lot of these guys don't seem to know how to see a person's personality, and that's everything. That's all these athletes that come out of college. They're all good. They're all good at what they do. That's why you're looking at them. So if they don't have the mind, that's the make or break it thing right there. And just talking with these guys, you can learn a lot. Another quarterback keeper. I'm going to start saying that from now on. I'm just going to go old school. I don't give a crap anymore. So, Jared, you're a Bengals fan, huh? Yeah, I was rooting very, very hard for your Bengals in the Super Bowl, and I think they got screwed. Um, I think last year was all about the Rams, and if you're if you're kind of new here, this is the first time you've heard me live. I've gone over this a lot, but with the Rams and the situation with the Rams, but and I'm not saying that if the Rams weren't helped, that they still couldn't have won the game. We would never know. We could not prove that. We would never know how that would happen. But all we do know is that they did get help, and it was very, very, very obvious. So you like the Montana versus Brady video? You know, thank you. When I wrote that video, when I wrote the script for that video, I was pretty angry at the time, and they're going to score again. This is going to be a blowout. I mean, but we can't trust the Ravens to hold a lead, can we? So Yeah, when, hang on just a second. Just one moment. I'm going to watch this play real quick. It's 3rd and 1. Inside the red zone. Lamar keeps it. Okay, so first down. A bit of scrum. There's a rugby term for you, red coat, if you're watching. No way red coat's watching. It's way too late in England. But so going back to Montana versus Brady video. So when I wrote that script for that, I was pretty annoyed because this was where I wrote it right after the Super Bowl was over, the Super Bowl 53, and Tom got his 6th ring, and it was, all of the social media websites and everywhere was just full of, Montana's still the GOAT. Here's why, and all these discounting all these things, and talking about teams and the 4-0 Super Bowl thing and all that stuff, and all these points made no sense. But my biggest problem was the way they would argue for Joe Montana. I didn't have a problem with the fact that they thought Joe was the GOAT still. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, right? Well, at the moment anyway. We don't know how much longer that will last. But it was the way they were doing it. So in order to prop up or argue for Joe, you had to crap on Tom. So they would make up this fake stuff that didn't exist, these things that don't make any sense or stretch the truth or make excuses. And it was just really like visceral reactions in order to defend their guy. You shouldn't have to do that. I don't need to insult Joe Montana in order to make Tom Brady look good. I don't need to insult Peyton Manning to make an argument that Tom is a greater quarterback of all time. I don't need to insult them or say, oh, what they did was fake, what they achieved was fake, or this was this and this was that, blah, blah, blah. He can't do that. He sucks at this. You don't have to do that. And people were doing that, and that was really annoying me. So when and not just them, Joe Montana himself was being a dick. He really was. And I show that at the end of the documentary. Every time he was interviewed regarding Tom, at first and early in Tom's career, he was very complimentary. Then when Tom started catching up with him and then past them, Joe started making up this shit about Otto Graham and Otto Graham's championship ring amount kept growing every time that Tom would win a Super Bowl. And the Ravens are going to have to kick it now. So that was sloppy. That was a sloppy series right there. But with Montana going on TV and constantly changing his approach, he was coming across as kind of a dick. And he was starting to sound a lot like his fans. And it bugged me. So I wrote that script kind of like angry. It was like, okay, so if you're going to talk shit, then I am not going to be Mr., like so polite here. I'm going to throw this down. I'm going to put this together and show you the deal. And even when I was, angry about what I was putting together, I still gave Joe concessions. I still could have torn him up much worse. I could have really put side by side bulk stats and all that, because a lot of people, really, that convinces people. And I didn't do that. I didn't do that because of era difference. So I actually did Joe a solid when I did that. But it wasn't good enough, for a lot of people. On the Montana side, of course, they took it personally, even though I used Joe's own words, him talking shit, right? But now here we are, it's 2022. Tom has won a 7th ring since then. It's and another Super Bowl MVP. He should have won regular season MVP last year. It seems like kind of laughable almost laughable that we would even be having this discussion anymore. Like this would even be a thing to talk about, right? And with hindsight and now knowing what I know today, I feel like I might have been a little hard on Joe. The truth is that I was a big Joe Montana fan growing up and always said he was the GOAT. He was the GOAT as far as I was concerned for a long time until Tom passed him. But that was pissing me off. That was actually annoying me. And that's when I came up with the whole BDS, Brady derangement syndrome, which of course is a spin-off of Trump derangement syndrome, but it's the same thing. Honestly, it's the same thing. It's when one person, you hate someone so badly that all their accomplishments or anything good they do is completely overlooked or completely changed or altered in your mind just because of your hatred. So it doesn't matter if they cure cancer or whatever it is, you're going to find a problem. I remember there was a time when Trump came out, and it's like if the guy cured cancer, everyone would bitch and say, well, he put a lot of oncologists out of work, that kind of stupid shit, right? And then they were doing that with Brady. Brady was like the football version of that. No matter what Brady achieved, no matter what he did, there was always the yeah, but, right? The yeah, but this. Yeah, but the defenses in his early career. Oh, yeah, but he's got Belichick. Oh, but he had Gronk. Yeah, well, he was in the AFC East. Oh, but, over and over. And there's just nothing but that, right? So I saw a parallel there. I thought it was kind of funny and ran off with it. So yeah, that documentary kind of came out of anger, and that started everything. I had actually originally, if you want to know the truth, the Montana versus Brady documentary and what is known as the Brady Hate Saga, all those episodes, those were one long script. The Montana versus Brady part was just one episode volume, and then the other ones were all together. It was Milena who came and saw all this, and she's like, this is going to be like 5 hours. Why don't you just make a TV series? Why don't you separate them and make them separate? I was like, oh yeah, I could do that, and that is what started this channel. That's what so I was like, I need a channel. I need something to start this and have a platform for it, and that's what happened. But I appreciate you saying that. That's awesome. If I was to do a Montana versus Brady revisited with updated stuff, I would. I'm certain. I'm positive. I know I would be a little more, a bit nicer to Joe. So, and I think Joe's come around as well in some respects. I think he knows it's over. The argument is over. So. Mickey? Majuli Coca-Cola Moja Vednaga? Majuli Coca-Cola Vednaga. Majuli Coca-Cola Moja Vednaga. Vednaga! Jared, talking about the Rams Bengals Super Bowl, before the game, I told a friend of mine that was watching it with me. I said, here's what's going to happen. I said they're gonna let the clean game go, hoping that the Rams can just beat the Bengals straight up. But if the Rams get in trouble at the very end, you're going to see some crazy stuff happen. It's exactly what happened. When it happened at the end, he's like, dude, you called it. How did you know that? And I said, because I've been watching it all year. all year. The Rams, constantly saved, constantly saved. Like it just, you know, for the most part, it's easy to do that in the NFL because you've got a team that's already pretty good. You can kind of just let them do their thing, and there's times where you don't even need to save them. You know, you just let them go. It's only if they're in trouble. Oh, sack fumble! Andy Dalton loses the ball, and here we go. The blowout is about to take place. Oh, they're calling him down. Oh, thank you. Got it. Okay, thank you. She's so nice. Yeah, the conversation with Chisel Adonis regarding Bradshaw, Terry Bradshaw. I'm clipping that actually. That one's going to be coming out soon. That whole segment with the Hall of Fame, and I've inserted different talking points from other players around the league and stuff, but and former Hall of Famers. Bradshaw is constantly forgotten, and it pisses me off because the 70s were different, a different time. People are trying to judge Bradshaw based on Dan Marino and Peyton Manning numbers and things, and that kind of level. You've got to look at everything for what it is. And the guy's got 4 rings. I remember one time they asked Terry on a show, I can't remember, maybe it was First Things First. This was years ago. This is probably, I think they were at the Super Bowl 2016, Super Bowl 51. But they asked Terry Bradshaw, and you could probably find this on YouTube, but they asked Bradshaw, do you feel left out when they talk about the greatest quarterbacks of all time? And here you are sitting with 4 Super Bowls and nobody mentions you much. And he said, you know what? It used to bother me, but here's what I do know. When I pull my 4 rings out on the table, they make a lot of damn noise. Clank, 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 clank. And I thought, man, that was a good line. I don't know if he thought of that right then or if he had, come up with that or something, but that was a great line. I loved it. And it's right. Those rings make a lot of damn noise. It's not like he was a different position. He's the quarterback. He was the quarterback for all of those. He got it done. He's got an MVP. It's been, it's just, yeah, it's not like he was Eli Manning the whole time. I mean, he won a regular season MVP, meaning he was the best player in the league. Eli Manning never came close to sniffing that. He didn't even get any, nothing. Eli never was that, But they look at the 2 Super Bowl rings he has against the Patriots, and that's all they look at. But so yeah, it's kind of crappy that Terry doesn't get his due that often. Dan Patrick one time was interviewing Joe Montana, and he said, Joe, you were the first first quarterback to have 4 rings. Nobody corrected him. It's like, no, Terry Bradshaw. Hello, Terry had 4, but before Joe had 1. Are you kidding me? So what's going on here? Just advertised. I'm supposed to be commentating, or not commentating, but talking about this game, but we get sidetracked a little bit here. I guess it's fine. After all, what this is what I meant for it to be is just us talking football. So we're all watching it together. So basically, as if we're all sitting in the same room watching the game, kind of feel to it, Although if you were in my living room right now and this wasn't live, my language would probably be a bit different. So, did you guys hear Tom cuss the other day or last night in the post-game press conference? That was funny. He knew how bad they needed that, man. Well, Jared, as far as a Bengals fan, I have to tell you, your former quarterback Andy Dalton had a lot of missed opportunities tonight. Austin, regarding that Montana thing, yeah, I put that in the documentary too, and apparently that doesn't mean anything to anyone. The cheating back then doesn't bother anybody. It's only when with regards to Brady. So Biden's got Biden blah 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 blah. He says 4 of Otto Graham's came in a different league. He went 3-3 in the NFL. You know, it's context, right? Context. So, and just another thing about the Steelers and the steel curtain and Bradshaw and all that stuff. You know, after that Steelers era, the AFC kind of went really in a bad direction, and you know the Raiders had managed to win a Super Bowl after that, but there was a streak of 15, how many years? 15, 16, 17 years where NFC won every Super Bowl and the AFC just wasn't there anymore. And you know, some could argue that a lot of that has to do with the rule changes against the Steelers defense, particularly that opened up the offense for the West Coast and all that stuff. So yeah, satire drunk. Yeah, all of a sudden Brady's a ring chaser. Sure. Yeah, when you're the guy that walks into a organization and you're the reason why they're Super Bowl bound, you're not a ring chaser. You're a ring maker. Big difference. Big freaking difference. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are garbage. They're nothing with if Tom never shows up. They were a 7-9 team. They had a quarterback that set the record for interceptions and touchdowns. Like the defense was screwed. You know, didn't matter what they did because they were always going to have to defend an interception and a turnover. So, oh, Dalton goes down again. So what are they going to do? Are they going to go for it? I would kick it, honestly. So, a bit too early to do something like that. But you never know with the analytics. Just completely missed it. Wow. Okay. Biden says to use the Brady hate logic. Um, Joe also had a better defenses per year and in Super Bowl years and per playoff game in Super Bowl. No one brings it up. Yeah, that's a fact too. And that's why and Austin, what you're saying about era, the different era is that you have to judge them against their peers first. That's how you find out. So if you want to say, okay, who's the greatest quarterback of all time? Okay, who's the guy from the 80s era or 80s to 90s era? Okay, so we've got to find out who is the best of that era, right? You would give the nod to Joe Montana. Now you put him up against Tom Brady. Tom is the best of his era. Now you got to put Tom and Joe against each other. And that's when the context starts to fill in. You start to look at winning and Super Bowls, appearances in the Super Bowl, playoff games, touchdowns in the playoffs, all those things, okay? they start to kind of form. And those little details, you can start to add those little details like you're talking about, who had the better defenses and all that, who was playing the best going into. It's a difficult thing to do, as far as, not difficult as far as actually figuring it out, but difficult is that it's a lot of work, and most people don't want to put that kind of work into something like that. So that is kind of how you figure it out, based on era, so you don't screw over the other guy. I don't like to match bulk stats, because they're different. They're just a different thing. And also how long you played, that comes into play too. So, unless it's playoffs. So I don't care how, if you're playing a long time and you're still making the playoffs and you're still playing at a high level, you deserve that. That's different. But if you're just hanging around and you're just there forever because you're just a serviceable quarterback and can always find a job, you're going to end up having a lot of yards, but it doesn't really mean that they mean anything. So look at Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is, he finished with crap load of yards. And did it matter? Did it amount to anything at all? No, it didn't. But he was good enough to have a job for the entire length of his career that he wanted. He even got to play with the Colts. So oh, thanks, Gord King. You like the when I was talking about how VAS started? You guys may not know this, and I was thinking about posting these for members only. So if you're not a member, make sure you join. If you see a lot of the guys here in the chat and they have numbers next to them, that was how long they've been a member. That number means different months. Actually, I'm going to get that link real quick. Give me just a second. There it is. There goes Lamar. See, you're going to get hurt, man. I mean, I know that's your thing and stuff, but that takes its toll over the years. Okay, so I put the link right there, and in the comment section. I've also pinned it to the top. So if you want to join, there's the link. But what I was saying is, when I first started, I also did some videos, some commentary, some like a bit commentary, whatever, just having a little bit of fun. And I stopped doing them because I started focusing on the Brady hate saga and all that, and going in a more serious direction. But I still have some of those. I went back and looked at them, and I thought this was pretty. I thought it was fun. I thought it was interesting, and I might just post those for you guys if you're interested, for members only, as a members perk. But I told you guys this last night, I believe, but I'm going to mention it again. For those of you who are not a member, joining also, I'm going to start posting for you guys different things from my history. So we used to film our reactions to Super Bowls and things. My family always has a Super Bowl party, and I've got film of this stuff going back to 2003, 304, something like that. And I asked you guys recently about it, and y'all said y'all would be interested to see stuff like that. So I've got those things like that. Video from going to games and all kinds of different things. It's football related, of course. So Biden is a D at best. Biden is a negative Z. Is there such a thing? He is the worst president that's ever lived. The worst, absolute worst. And he achieved that in the first, what, 6 months? And I'm just telling you from a historical perspective, the president's history of presidents, that's my thing. That is where I thrive. And I'm telling you, he is this is not a current political opinion of like reaction. This is historically speaking the absolute worst ever. Absolute worst ever. Okay? The country would have been better off if he just like took a nap this entire time. So it just left things the way they were. The hot bots are back. Woo! Would I be down to do a Rodgers versus Breeze long form analysis? I feel head to head. That would be a fun one. That'd be a fun one. The comparison would be interesting for that. Both have Super Bowls. Both have Super Bowl MVPs. But Aaron has 4 MVPs. Drew's got none. Although Drew does have All Pro. In that off year, I think, when Adrian Peterson won it, right? Any other year, he would have won MVP, of course. Well, the Ravens are just letting the Saints hang around here, aren't they? They, in my opinion, they probably should have put this game away already. Ken Anderson, yeah, Ken Anderson was a great player. He was MVP of the league when I was like a little kid. I don't remember it. I just know it because I know the history of the game, but I didn't experience it. I was probably like 3, 2, I don't know. Yeah, that's the problem. As time goes by, a lot of players get forgotten. You know, Johnny Unitas isn't talked about as much as he used to be. When I was young, Johnny Unitas was always brought up. So, but that's what happens over time. It's unfortunate. Bart Starr is also an underrated quarterback because Favre and Rodgers overshadow him. Yeah, if he was on a different team, we would think of him differently. That's true. My my uncle had a restaurant in Alabama for a long time, and he was friends with Bart Starr. I agree. Blacker 58, absolutely. He says there should be blowout adjusted and garbage time adjusted stats. Uh, uh, a website online for a football simulation does it. Can you send me that information about what you're talking about? I would like to see that. If you could just email it to me, vonallensports@icloud.com. I would like to check that out. Oh, wow. Check it out. Okay. We have a new member, Jared. Jared Feldkamp. Thank you so much, Jared. He just joined. We've got a new member, guys. Welcome, Jared, to the Empire, baby. Hell yeah. Look at that. I can't believe we're getting closer to 50, guys. We're almost to 50 members. Was it Peyton in 2012? Okay, then for Drew, it must have been 2011. 2011 is so who won the MVP in 2011? Was that Aaron? No, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, that was Aaron, but there was a year where Breeze was all pro, but he didn't get the MVP. Um, God, all these years are just cramming together there. Yeah, one of you guys, you look that up. Y'all are pretty fast about that. So yeah, but there was a year where Drew threw for over 5,000 yards. Um, in fact, I think it might have been the year that yeah. Let's see, but he didn't get MVP though. But he did get first team All Pro. Pretty sure. Yeah, Bloody Pleb, Breeze should be a two-time MVP, but Peyton was handed MVPs like Halloween candy. There are a few of Peyton's MVPs that are very questionable, and it was almost like here's the thing, guys, about MVPs and the Hall of Fame, and I consider them both the same problem here. Why in the world are we letting journalists decide who is the MVP of the league and who is a Hall of Famer? I would like to know why it's being decided by people like that. Why isn't the MVP selected by the players who have to play against this person? Why isn't the Hall of Fame being voted on by the guys in the Hall of Fame? Okay? And not only a Hall of Fame, maybe you want to let the coaches, the current guys in the NFL, also have a vote of some sort, and you can work on how you want the difference to be or whatever. That's of course up for detail and debatable and whatever. But the point is that it should not belong in the hands of journalists, and you can't even call them that anyway. You call them they're activists, but they held things against certain players. Remember last year that one guy said he wasn't going to vote for Aaron Rodgers, not because he didn't think Aaron was the MVP, but because Aaron was not getting the vaccine. Okay, so yeah. You see what I mean? You can't be doing that. So how many times have they voted for MVP based on personal reasons and not really who they thought was the best guy? And that's kind of messed up. All right. We're already into the fourth quarter, man. Damn. Yeah, Manning took an MVP from Priest Holmes. You guys go back and look. I remember that year. Priest Holmes was, man, killing it for the Chiefs and had a good record. Everything was there. Like, there's no reason why. Peyton got it because he's Peyton. That's just the way it is. I understand his '04 MVP. He broke Dan Marino's record. No argument there. Okay. But '03, he had to share. He shared it actually with Steve McNair, but should have gone to Priest Holmes. So. Brady was last year's MVP. Austin, I'm telling you, based on all the metrics and all the things that I put into the quarterback formula, Tom was the best quarterback in the league last year. Blows me away that he wasn't. But we all know that that interception ratio to touchdown ratio is what they looked at, and the number one seed is what they looked at. So that's what tipped it to Aaron. But as far as just the best player, best quarterback last year, it was Tom, and that's not my bias because if I was that biased, I'd say, oh well, Tom's the best quarterback this season. Well, no, he's not. Okay, so as far as statistically, he's not having the best year. So, and that's what the MVP is supposed to be: is how are you playing in that year? If you gave the MVP for just the most valuable person, like literally, if you took it literally, most valuable player, then Tom Brady gets it every year. And you would have had to done the same thing with Michael Jordan. You would have done the same thing with Wayne Gretzky. Okay, just their existence, the fact that they're breathing air on this earth, they're showing up to training camp, they're showing up to the team. There you go. They're the most valuable. So it doesn't literally mean that. I absolutely agree with you, though. Even with all the stat padding and the stat whoring that Drew Brees did, he's still 15,000 yards behind Tom. And that is just shows you how insane what Tom has done. It's not just longevity. It's longevity with playoffs. And playoffs? Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. I just hope we can win a game. Playoffs. But yeah, with playoffs. But just, yeah, it just shows you how crazy it is what Tom achieved. Here goes Lamar. Oh, go, go. Oh, what a move. Nice. See? Lamar reminds me so much of Michael Vick. I know that's kind of obvious, but there is so many similarities. But Lamar is a better thrower. And had Vick been with the Andy Reid and the Eagles for his whole career, we're talking something different, okay? Because we saw how good Andy Reid made Michael. But by then it was kind of too late at that point. But that just shows you also how great of a coach Andy Reid is and how good he is with quarterbacks. There we go. You're about to put the nail in the Saints' coffin here. And also, that's why regarding MVP, it's kind of weird. Like, I don't understand why playoffs are not considered. It's just, if you lose your first game in the playoffs, were you the most valuable player that year? Were you? I mean, seriously? Come on. And that's why our formula considers that. We don't have a regular season best quarterback. We have a NFL year season total best quarterback. So it can't be the players because they're biased too. Seriously, they're not any more biased than fucking journalists. The journalists are the worst scum of the earth, the worst fucking people you could possibly have deciding anything. They're terrible. So even if the players are biased, at least they're the players. I mean, if I'm getting into the Hall of Fame, I think it would mean more to me that the guys in the Hall of Fame picked me, or at least make a committee of people who were in football. No, I mean, this crap's decided by like a whole bunch of people that it don't make no sense. There's all kinds of people on this committee. It's just insane, especially the MVP is the worst one. The committee for that is absolutely insane, There's no perfect system. I mean, everyone's going to be biased, everybody at some level. But these journalists, they don't take they take football reasons and they put them aside, and they take personal reasons and put them in too. And pretty much when the players are normally right more than not. Look at the NFL top 100 players every year that the NFL Network does, right? Most of it's pretty damn good. It's like, okay, that makes sense. Like the players tend to vote kind of correctly, even though a lot of them will vote for their guy or whatever, but it kind of works itself out much better than what you would see if you did a fan vote or a journalist and leave it up to them. So. All right, well, the Baltimore Ravens are letting the Saints hang around a little longer here. Justin Tucker, of course, it's good. Yeah, Anthony Preston, that's right. Yeah, so Tom was the number one player this year in the top 100 players. And I think we all agree that that's correct. But even if Tom was like top three, top four, we'd all say that's correct. That's accurate. You know, he deserves to be in that range. Players got it right. So there's some that are questionable. It's usually in the later numbers, like the 70s, 80s, 90s. Yeah, nobody is gonna, but nobody cares enough to really mess with it. Peter King is the worst, Bill. Peter King sucks. I hate that guy. Yeah, like the journalists watch all the games. These journalists, man, they get reports and get stuff from. They usually have assistants or interns or something like that, and they're just given, and then they just, the ones that sit up in the press box, or if that's what you're talking about, they're always mesmerized by the same stuff, and they always. That's what I'm saying. They throw journalists are no longer journalists like it used to be. They're activists. So even if they're up in the journalist box, they're watching the game. If they got, let's say they got a problem with Lamar Jackson, a journalist up there in the press box has a problem with Lamar, a personal issue with him, something about him that they don't like. No matter what he does, they're going to skew the writing to undermine all the good stuff he does, instead of looking at it from a football standpoint. I'm sitting here watching two teams that have nothing to do with my private, personal rooting interest, okay? And I'm still, getting excited when Lamar has a run or he does a great play or makes a guy miss, or the Saints Kamara does something. I'm having that because I love the game. I love football. I want to see good football. I don't care if it's not my team. Yes, if it's my team and the players I follow and stuff, it's more exciting, but I'm still excited by this stuff. I'm not, if I was if I was up in the press box, I'd say, oh, Lamar had this move, this, and this, the way you made him miss and all this. I would write all that. And it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that the Ravens have been a thorn in the ass of the Patriots for a long time. Okay, the Ravens have been a massive rival for the Patriots for a long time. The Saints have been a problem for Tom Brady for years, several years since he's been in Tampa. Even when he was on the Patriots, I remember that beatdown we took in 2009 during the Saints Super Bowl year. You know what? And the Saints fans, they are relentless on that. So, yeah, I guess you could say if I wanted to, I could have a bias against these teams, but I don't because that's not my job. My job is to call it as I see it. And the Ravens just intercepted it. Andy Dalton, you suck. I mean, I hate tipped balls. I hate that. And but this is, it's not like he was playing great and then all of a sudden this happened to him. He's just not any good. And of course, it's Justin Houston because I mentioned him. See, I've got the magic touch. You know who's more powerful than me? You know who can decide the outcome of games? Milena. You guys know that she's the reason why we lost the Super Bowl to the Giants, Super Bowl 46. It's her fault. We've been only dating a month, and took her to Arkansas. I said, hey, my family has a Super Bowl party. We do every year. Would you be interested in seeing what Arkansas looks like? And she's like, sure. And so I took her to meet the family and everything, and I blame her for that loss. I blame her. It's her fault. See, if I didn't take her, then the Patriots would have won. See, that's how it works, right, Milena? Right, right, right. It's your fault. Okay. Is anybody buying that at all? Did anybody find out what I asked about? Actually, I'll just look it up myself. All right, now the Ravens have put the game away. So, okay, it was 2006 is what I was thinking of, and it was LaDainian Tomlinson. Yeah. So, but Drew Brees was first team All Pro. Peyton was second team All Pro. That's what I was thinking about. Okay. And then there was another year where Drew threw for over 5,000 yards. And that was, oh, '08. That's, yeah, '08. And they gave it to Peyton. But the thing about that is let's see, '08, ultimately, that was the Cardinals Steelers Super Bowl. That was the year Tom was hurt. The Colts team went 12-4 that year, and the Saints were 8-8. See, that's what costed them right there. It's the record. It's the record that did it. Yeah, I mean, Drew even had more touchdowns, had a few more interceptions as well, but he threw it quite a bit more. Drew threw 413 passes, or completions. I'm sorry, threw 635 attempts. Peyton only 555. But that's what got him. It's that record and that speaks volumes too. Because as a quarterback, a win is a quarterback stat. It just is. Because the quarterback there's no other position in football that has more control over the outcome as one player does. It has the most power as a quarterback does. This one is a little weird. Let's see here. 2009. So 2009, this was the year that New Orleans Saints went to the Super Bowl and won against Peyton Manning's Colts. So they went 13-3, and I remember thinking that Drew Brees was going to be the MVP. It went to Peyton, but here's what's interesting. Drew had a few less yards than Peyton, but Drew had more touchdowns and less interceptions. Peyton had many more interceptions. Peyton had 16, Drew had 11. But the problem with that was that this was the year that the Colts could have gone undefeated. You guys remember that? And Jim Caldwell set some players, and so they lost the last two. They could have won those. I know they could have. And so Peyton ended up with a 14-2 record, and that was enough. And I guess apparently in the voters' minds to give the nod to Peyton there. So Drew, he always seems to have these really good, stat-heavy years, and then there's just always an exception there. Of course, 2010 was the year of Tom, of course. Matt Ryan actually had a pretty good year, too. 2011, that was Aaron Rodgers. That was the year where Tom and Drew both threw over 5,000 yards. That was the second time Drew had done it. First time Tom had done it. But Aaron got the nod there because his efficiency was it was better. So, 2011 was also an interesting year because Aaron and Tom both had great years, and their defenses were garbage. So that does show you what a good quarterback can do for you, But yeah, 2012, that was the Adrian Peterson year, and then they gave the first team All-Pro to Peyton. They had to go to Adrian that year. That would have been pathetic if it didn't. So 2013 went to Peyton. MVP went to Peyton. Of course, that was the year he threw 55 touchdowns, which is insane. They had a monster year, the Broncos did, but then Peyton ultimately, they lost badly to the Legion of Boom, Seattle Seahawks, which Tom Brady ended up defeating the very next year. In 2014, that was also Aaron's year, his second one. Tom had a great year too. But again, the touchdown to interception ratio is kind of what set that one up. 2015 was the year of Cam Newton. I'm sure we all remember that. Crazy year for him. Excellent year. And that was the year that he went to the Super Bowl against the Denver Broncos and didn't jump on a fumble. Milena, do you remember the 2015 Super Bowl? We actually didn't go home. We didn't go to Arkansas that year for the Super Bowl party. We watched it at the Freemasons. We had an event there, and we decided to have a football party that year, and so we stayed in town. Do you remember when Cam, he was driving, trying to, they were hoping to take the lead at the end. The ball, Cam fumbles the ball, and then he doesn't jump on it. He actually pulls back from the ball, and lets Denver recover it. I was just like, oh my God. Okay. If you're going to give up your body, the Super Bowl is when you do it, right? And unbelievable. And that is when I lost complete respect for him. Took a while for me to kind of get past that because that's how I always saw him, was that fumble. What a great year going down in flames, man. 2016 was the year of Matt Ryan. We all know what happened. Tom Brady was second team All-Pro that year, actually. And we all know that they met in the Super Bowl, actually. 28-3, which I'm sure Saints fans love to hear. Saints and Falcons fans, they absolutely hate each other. 2017, Tom Brady, of course, won the MVP. Should have won the Super Bowl if it wasn't for Bill motherfucking Belichick being a complete idiot. So that's the one year that I'm mad at Bill for. So Baltimore's playing prevent defense right now. They let Kamara run it, for a huge gain. They don't even care at this point. 2018 was the year of Patrick Mahomes. He became the third quarterback ever to hit 50 touchdown passes. So he went over 5,000 as well. That was clearly his MVP that year. 2019, the year of Lamar Jackson. We talked about that earlier. I don't think that Lamar was a unanimous MVP. I think that was kind of to just send a fuck you to Tom Brady. But because Tom had been the only unanimous MVP, all 50 votes, which he got in 2010. But I don't know. I don't think it was that. Lamar was, he deserved the MVP, but I don't think it was that clear cut. So, but I guess we could argue that. And of course, 2020 was Aaron Rodgers again. And again, it's that touchdown to interception ratio, and it's the record. The record is what gets you there. So it's a lot of times a deciding factor, and then Aaron won again. In the same scenario, touchdown to interception ratio, record, number one seed. That's just what it is. And a meaningless garbage time touchdown. If I didn't know what year I was in, I would think Drew Brees was the quarterback at the moment. Because there's nothing more Saints than a garbage time TD in garbage yards. By the way, Gord King, you said Brady should have been unanimous twice. And I'm sure you're referring to 2007, where one guy, one piece of shit, voted for Brett Favre. Really? That really happened. You gave Brett Favre a vote over a quarterback who just threw for 50 touchdowns, broke the record, all-time record for touchdowns in the season, and went 16-0. He went undefeated. Undefeated. And how in the world are you not unanimous MVP? That is insane. It doesn't make any sense. That was clearly a biased thing right there. That's just absolutely stupid. So that dude stepped out of bounds. Uh-oh. Gonna call that one back. Yeah, he's a Wisconsin journalist. Pathetic. I'd hope that they'd kick him off after that. So. That's strange. Okay. Aaron's iPhone disc view camera. Yeah, I don't know where the hell that's coming from. All right, whatever. So we'll get it figured out at some point. In 2000, Bloody Pleb says in 2007, Brady led the league in 14 different categories. And Brady's 2007 was better than Manning's 2013. I absolutely agree with that. Yes. The 2007 Tom Brady year was the best year ever by a quarterback. It's never been beaten. It is just, for every metric possible that you can look at, it is the best year ever that anyone's ever had. Regular season, of course. Regular season is the best year a quarterback has ever had. There's no other. So. So obviously the Ravens are going to take this. There's only 4 minutes left, but this is pretty much how we thought it would turn out. The Saints actually could have competed in this game if they had not just made so many stupid mistakes. All this was self-inflicted. There's these Ravens points that came off turnovers, so you don't have the turnovers. Naturally, you don't have the score the way it is. So. I can't wait till the Eagles lose the game. I'm going to have a party. I'm going to go nuts. I'll be like, I'm going to be very obnoxious. See, I told you so. I told you it was coming. I'm going to be like the most obnoxious dickhead ever. The Minuteman says, Marcus Peters and John Harbaugh are arguing about analytics. Unfortunately, Blacker 58, it'd have to go to Joe because Bill Belichick decided to go all stupid. So. When your quarterback sets the record for most yards in a game, in a Super Bowl, or in a playoff in general, but definitely Super Bowl, it's on you, man. It's on the coach. So, yeah, that's your fault. Oh, it's a little too late for that, though. Yeah, so there's not much to talk about anymore about this game. It's basically over. Um, Congrats to the Ravens and any Ravens fans out there watching. I know Elliot was watching here. So, Bengals fans, yes, Jared, you were our first Bengals fan, so welcome. Last year, what was funny is we were looking for a Bengals fan. We were like, does anybody know a Bengals fan? We couldn't think of one, and nobody knew a Bengals fan. So now we've got one. The only fan we don't have in our empire is a Jets fan. If there is a Jets fan, they've not revealed themselves. They've not made their presence known. But I don't think we probably do. So, but yeah, this is going to be a difficult division for your Bengals at this point now with the Ravens. So I I was hoping the Browns would be a bit better than they are. I like Jacoby Brissett. Of course, he was a former Patriot, so I'd like to see him do well. But the Browns are the Browns, and the Steelers are just kind of there, you know. Although I swear when they played the Bucks, apparently they're acting like they were playing their own Super Bowl. So okay, well that ices it right there. Another first down that takes it down to the 2-minute warning, and the Saints have no timeouts. So. When I first started teaching Milena football, because a lot of you guys probably don't know, she's from Bulgaria in Eastern Europe, and so they don't have our football there, and they grow up, knowing other sports and like water polo and soccer and beanbag toss and tying a rope to a car and pulling it with your teeth, weightlifting, fire trucks. What else do you guys do? Oh, see, you can eat the most mashed potatoes. Who can drink the most vodka without throwing up? That kind of thing. But I showed her the Bengals, and she said, "Oh, that's the kitty cats, the Cincinnati kitty cats. Remember that? You said the Cincinnati. Are they the kitty cats? Yes, yes. She called them the Cincinnati kitty cats. Vodka. Nope. That bloody play. That's what was bad. Manning got like beat down in that Super Bowl. That was rough. That was hard to watch. By the way, I've got video of that too. I've got video of our Super Bowl party watching that game. So yeah. So for those of you who are members, I'm gonna start uploading that stuff as I can edit it as it come, as I can do it. So and don't forget, guys, Saturday, Run On Sports, 100th episode. We're gonna have a giveaway. Going to have a big party that night. It's going to be fun. You've got to be here for that. If you are part of the Empire, if you're a subscriber, member, whatever, if you like this channel, you've got to be there for the 100th anniversary. It's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. And we're going to talk of course, we'll have the normal show where we talk about week 10. But we're also going to go and have these historical conversations about past quarterbacks and past teams and stuff like we like to do and all that. Even kind of go over the history of the VAS and talk about different documentaries and things. And I think it's going to be really cool. It's going to be a lot of fun for you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and end this now. The game is pretty much over. So I want to thank you guys for being on here with me. This is kind of interesting, kind of strange doing this if it's not playoff time. Because playoff time, it's all like, there's so much to talk about. But these are just a regular season Monday night game. If we do this again, I'm going to try to find an animated scoreboard, see if I can even put the game a little bit like in a small box, and see if that will work, just to kind of let people see what's going on and see how that works. But I don't know. I'll try some different things. So, all right. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget Saturday night, 8 Eastern. Okay. So have a good night, guys. Thank you.